I'm Katharine Henry. I live in Burnaby and I work as an illustrator, designer, and printmaker. The artwork is lino cut or block printing. There's usually sort of a medieval fantasy theme, but I also like sort of goofy, silly things as well. So that's usually what I like to do. I really like magical, like unicorns. My logo's a unicorn. I love a unicorn. I love water, so a kelpie, which is this one up here. Kelpie is like a Scottish demon water horse. I love the way they look. I've got my seal of approval up there because, again, I like water. Anything with a medieval fantasy vibe or a nautical thing, I just think looks nice and cool, and I like to draw them. My mother-in-law bought me a gift card from my favorite art supply store many years ago, and I had bought the things I wanted to buy, and I had some money left over, and they had a tiny little lino carving kit by the till, and I was like, that looks fun. And that was the start, and it was really fun. And then about a year after that, I took a course on the island with a woman called Carrie. She's Wayward Citizen on Instagram. She's marvelous, and I took a course with her, and it was just super cool, and I really enjoy it. So, and it's nice. During the pandemic, I really got into more traditional mediums, things like watercolor, as opposed to digital things in Photoshop that I've been working on for the last decade. So switching into mediums that I can really do with my hands has been really fun, and I've been really enjoying that. So the lino is a perfect one for that for me. So I'll design the image in Photoshop. I have what's called a Cintiq at home, so I can draw right on the screen and create the image. And then I print it, and then I take a bare piece of linoleum, lino, and I'll transfer it on, just put the paper down, rub this until the image is transferred, and then trace over it with a fine liner just to make sure it's not going to move. And then I stain the block so that it's easier to see where I've carved away and where I haven't. And then I've got my handy dandy gouges here, which have gouged out my skin before. These are my favorite set. They're the smallest detail ones, and they've got different little profiles for carving different levels of detail. So I'll take these tools and I'll get in there and carve out some detail. And once I am satisfied, like, again, the print has to be put on backwards on the block, so when it's transferred to the paper, especially if you have something like text is going to read in the right direction. I've got my nasty little pot of ink here that I use, and I have a roller, and I'll roll ink on it and then press it down onto my paper. And I've got a great big wooden press at home. Paper goes in, crank it, put a bunch of pressure on it, and then out comes a finished print. That takes about a week to dry. I've got a little drying rack set up in my ensuite bathroom because Vancouver housing is very small. And yeah, I let them dry, and then I package them up and send them off where they're gonna go, wherever that is. The dragon is really fun, but probably the hardest one to do. That one is done in, I think, 11 different pieces. So because it, how do I explain? The treasure, the gold, is each their own piece, and then the dragon, the black details, are their own pieces. And so what I have to do, I have all the pieces separate. I roll the gold ink on the treasure, I roll the black ink on the dragon, and then I put it together like a puzzle while they're all covered in ink. And then once that's all put together, then I can put the paper on and put it through the press. So the dragon, like I say, is I think 11 pieces. The mermaid I brought with me because she's kind of cool. She's done in 2 layers. So you can see the reverse image here of her helmet. So whoop, it goes like that. So the copper layer for the solid bit of her scuba helmet there, that goes on first. And then once that's dry, I'll roll on black to make the layer of the mermaid on top of the copper. So that's a fun one. I like that one. I used to work, well, I still work part-time in the animation industry, which is huge here in Vancouver, as a character designer, supervisor for kids TV. So the My Little Pony movie, the Octonauts, some DreamWorks, some Netflix shows, that sort of thing, making characters for those. The thing that I love about my own practice, removed from the day job, is the lack of a client. I love that I can make whatever makes me happy, makes me smile, in a way that I think looks cool, without someone else's eyes on it. I'm very happy to work for clients. I've done it for a long, long time, and it's how it works. But being able to just create for myself is really, really wonderful, and so important for, I think, a professional artist to have a portion of their practice that doesn't have another set of eyes making demands on it. So that's the biggest difference, is just making what makes me happy. I love the concept of affordable art. I think original art is special and really cool, and especially in the ongoing world of AI generating art, stuff made by human hands is really special, and I love that you guys are making a show where people can have that in their homes for not $2 million. I think that's really wicked. Claire reached out to me on Instagram and asked if I was interested, and I looked at the website for about 2 minutes before I thought, this looks wicked. I'd love to be part of this. So thank you, Claire. So everything you see here, I'll have at the show. I'll have this one once it's done. The whales. I have a unicorn, of course. It's proving a little tricky to print right now. I've got to make some tweaks to the block. I think about a dozen different prints, maybe more. I really like meeting other artists and seeing what they do. I love talking to customers. It's really interesting to see why people buy what they buy and what they connect with. I think that's fun. I'm always really happy when I see that my art makes someone smile or makes someone laugh. That's a good feeling, and I really enjoy that.